While the filmmaker behind this historic footage wasn't himself Australian, I couldn't make a series on the history of Australian cinema without including Ellis Ashmead-Bartlett's footage shot at Gallipoli in 1915. Australia had only been federated as a country for a few years when it sent its young men and women off to the European battlefields of World War I. As a collective people, they were still trying to define what their new national identity was. It wasn't British, it wasn't necessarily a character from a Henry Lawson poem. And after the slaughter that was Gallipoli, something emerged around that stop-at-nothing underdog Anzac spirit. So it's little wonder that our filmmakers come back again and again to that theme. Australia might not love war, but we do love a war movie. There isn't much footage of actual combat from World War I, but British war correspondent Ellis Ashmead-Bartlett, covering the war for the British Daily Telegraph, had gotten his hands on a rather mobile for the day film camera, an oroscope, and he had it with him when he landed with British and Anzac troops at Anzac Cove. He shot a handful of short subjects across 4 months, including Watson's Pier at Anzac Cove, thin troops in uniforms, soldiers demonstrating a periscope, running messages up the goat track hills of Gallipoli. You'll see all of this painstakingly reproduced in Peter Weir's 1983 Gallipoli feature film. We see Turkish prisoners of war and Egyptian labourers clearing debris. British officers eat at a makeshift mess. We see Lone Pine Hill torn apart by Turkish artillery. It's hard to describe how groundbreaking this footage was and is. We've become numb, especially lately, watching atrocities on TV and YouTube. And for the most folk, this was their first-hand account of life at the front. It's impossible to whitewash the conditions for troops having seen this footage. Today, Ellis Ashmead-Bartlett might be described as a Nepo baby. He was the son of a Conservative MP, but he became a fearless soldier and journalist, and his writing about Australian soldiering helped form that Anzac legend. And from his own observations, he took on the British military hierarchy about their mismanagement of the Gallipoli campaign. And when they wouldn't listen to him, in a bit of a don't you know who I am moment, he personally wrote to the British PM, giving his unfiltered thoughts on the British incompetence, which did have an impact on the decision to withdraw from the Gallipoli campaign. It got one of the commanding officers stood down, but the British military got theirs back. They banned Ellis Ashmead-Bartlett from covering the war. C.W. Bean acquired a copy of the Bartlett footage from the British War Office in 1919 when he was beginning the curation of the collection that would become the Australian War Memorial.